So I guess today's topic on our show is when did you fall in love, or when did you find your liking for hip hop?
Hip hop?
Started out in the park. Oh, my bad. But you can just break into songs or anything you say, because it's such a large,
array of things.
Yeah.
I used to do that.
When somebody says something, if you're a real lover of hip hop, you're able to just
Complete it with a line or two.
Yeah, it might just be a general conversation that you just flow right into a song. So what was your crowning moment?
I think it was just the time.
Okay.
Am I telling my age?
No. Was it a particular artist or something?
No, it was, and this true story. When I was a youth, back on the farm, after we milked the cows, that was stupid.
Ooh, I'm trying to hold it in. Okay.
There was a young, we were kids in school, and this girl kept talking about these hip hop lyrics, and I didn't know. And then all I heard was she talking about, the Friday night Mr. Magic thing, and I recorded it, and I'm like, what? And not for the life of me, I knew what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So and it sounds crazy, but this is where peer pressure comes in. I'm sitting there on a Friday night trying to find the radio station of what she's talking about, and then it just hit me. I was like, Red Alert. Oh shoot, there's two stations, the Red Alert thing and the other thing.
Because you had Mr. Magic, you had Chuck Chill Out, you had Red Alert, all those coming on.
On the 107.5.
And at that time, 98.7 Kiss. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, not knowing, I started to record, not realizing it was like 2 hours long.
But that was the original mixtapes for us.
Yes.
And
I was like, does this song end? And what is a new song? And then that's when it started to grow on me.
Okay.
Because this young lady, girl.
But was it an artist that made you started paying attention to? Was it one
LL
artist?
Cool J.
Oh, okay.
When she started singing and reciting the lyrics on my radio.
Okay.
And I remembered it to this day. And all you crappy looking nappy-headed girls get back, because there's a 10 to 1 chance that you might get slapped, rocked the bell.
The original Rock the Bells. Because there's a part 2 to that too. I think that's cool. I mean, so that's got to be around 85, 86. Because that's his first album. With the, I Know I Can't Live Without My Radio. That's the first song on there. Rock the Bells is on there, and a couple of other, Dear Yvette, and I Can Love You Better, and all that's on there.
Okay, yes.
I think for me, started earlier.
Because you're older.
Yeah, but I think the name was Run DMC, and I loved Run DMC, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. And I remember going to parties in the park, and everybody would play that. But there's some people before that, like just some old school names that nobody really knows. From way back in the day. I'm not talking about like Africa Bambaataa and none of that. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get into that with the Soul Sonic Force and none of that. That was okay to me. I was still listening to R&B and stuff, but then Run DMC was cool, and Houdini was cool and all that. And then that LL, like you just was talking about, it intrigued me. But there was one guy. Mm-hmm. The one guy for me was Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim. When I heard Eric B. and Rakim in 1987 with that first album, I never heard anything like that. That was incredible. It's two guys. One says nothing, and the other one has all the lyrics. And the crazy part is, for that paid in full album, it's only 8 tracks on there. The 7th one is called Chinese Arithmetic. It's an instrumental. How do we know the words to an instrumental? Because we all can hear it and go, which is saying a lot. And that struck me like, damn, okay, I like the Run DMCs of the world. But that Rakim stuff, it's different. And then there was another guy who came out, and it's just like, what in the hell? What? When Public Enemy's first album came out, Yo, Bum Rush the Show. Mm-hmm. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was just powerful what he was saying. Now, powerful, yes, because of the movement he was trying to create, but you also had another guy out there in one of the first battles when you had the Juice Crew going against Boogie Down Productions, and KRS-One is killing them with, the South Bronx.
Yes.
And The Bridge Is Over. That album is legendary with Poetry and Elementary and all that. Super Ho is on that. And the way he was going at Shan and shut down that whole situation is insane. But it is nice to see now that him and Shan realized it was just music.
Of course.
So now they actually, when they go out on stage, they actually go out and battle on stage, but it's just music, which was something that is not the situation now, where everybody wants to pull out a weapon and all this other.
Because they take it personal and serious.
Right.
Like, really?
And back then, they were just trying to get established, so it was just all music. It was never a violent thing. Because even if you go back to Roxanne Shante, before the Juice Crew, when she was 13, 14, rapping in Marley Marl's apartment, doing the thing, going back and forth with UTFO, it never turned violent. It was just music, you know. When she would go at Kango Kid and Dr. Ice and so forth and so on with UTFO, it was just music. It wasn't about violence. But, you know, that was one thing. And then also, you know what else made me really fall in love with it? MC Lyte. For a female, the first female I really, really paid attention to.
That was the first also for me. Because
yeah, that you really
I came to understand you and 10% this.
And yeah, and then you keep going into the, I don't want to say newer, but it was newer then, the Cha 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 and
Georgie Porgy.
Yeah, you keep going. Even though Salt and Pepper was actually before her. Even though Salt and Pepper wasn't really their original names. Their original name was the Showstoppers, because their producer, Herbie Lovebug, switched them over to Salt and Pepper. They were good, but they were a duo. And MC Lyte was out there holding it on against her own, against guys. And then Queen Latifah comes, and so forth and so on. And you go with that. Unlike today's hip-hop female generation, I never, I mean, not that they're this generation, but Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown, I never liked either one of them because all they talk about is sex.
Well, so are the newer ones today.
That's why I don't like the newer ones today. It's like you don't have anything else to say. And it shows.
Because sex sells, according to the mind of them.
And I'm not mad at that, you know, because everybody's trying to make their money, but you can't have 12 tracks on an album and 8 of them is the same.
Talking about...
I don't get me wrong, I love Cardi. I love Cardi B. I love to look at her, I love to hear her talk, but can I listen to her music? No. I'll hang out with her. We can go to the chicken spot. We can do whatever. We can get a bottle. We can hang out, but I can't.
You said the chicken spot.
Because she goes to the chicken spots when she comes to New York. We couldn't ride and bump her music, and because what does it matter? One song sounds like all the others. So if you went back to it, like I was saying, with Lyte and Latifah, it was just different. Salt and Pepper was okay. Salt and Pepper were okay.
They were more entertaining and you know, fun to hear and watch, but like Lyte spoke
about something.
Yes.
Yeah, she had substance to what she was saying. And saying that, there's even guys from the next generation back then who were light and funny, but we look at them totally different. 2 guys who basically had almost the same career, but one we respect and one we don't. We don't really respect Will Smith's career, but wasn't Heavy D doing the exact same thing? Comical, lighthearted, no drugs, no shooting, no violence, same thing. So what's the difference between Will Smith and Heavy D? Everybody loves Heavy D. Everybody takes Will Smith as a joke.
Because he started out with, what did he start out with? Parents Just Don't Understand?
Well,
and then he did Fresh
before
Prince.
that, yes, you see it.
Okay.
Before
I saw it.
before that, his first album with the magnificent Jazzy Jeff, they had a song with the Transformer Scratch, which put Jeff on the map. But Will's raps are kind of comical and all that. But so wasn't Heavy D's with the Overweight Lover in the House and Mr. Big Stuff and all that. I'm just saying. I
don't think it was supposed to be comical for Heavy D. It was just
but it was
real.
Yeah, because what he talked about himself and so forth and so on. And to be honest, most people, I think the thing with Will and Heavy is a lot of people felt Will went commercial with like Miami and getting jiggy with it and all that. But honest to God, Will's best song is actually Summertime, which he didn't even write.
Who wrote it?
Rakim. He stole the flow and everything from Rakim. He wrote that song. Yeah. Yeah.
And
if you listen to the song, and you can hear Rakim all over it, which is fine. And as for Heavy has so many hits, but nobody ever speaks on those hits. Heavy is like a forgotten kind of rapper. But
what made that happen? Like, why
not
wasn't
sure.
he that pronounced? Because he was in a lot of stuff with collaborating with
Because Heavy,
Monifa.
because Heavy wasn't political like Public Enemy. He wasn't fighting the establishment and the police and everything like NWA. He had background dancers. Now Big Daddy Kane had dancers too, but it was a whole move. Like I don't know. Big Daddy Kane, quote unquote, was the sex symbol. So the women like that. Heavy was big.
You mean Bismarck? He wasn't a sex symbol?
On Biz, I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people do not like it. Biz is one of the worst rappers of all time.
He's comical.
And it's not, no. We're talking music. Biz and the Old Dirty Bastard are two of the worst. And I'm gonna tell you why. The sideshow gimmickry, you're so busy caught up with what they're doing, you're not listening to the bullshit that they're saying.
But
listen to what is
RZA
Biz saying
wrote
anything?
ODB's.
Because it fits the character.
I mean, was a Jizza. Well, one of them.
I know one of them, right? Because it fits the character he's portraying. But is he saying anything in any song? No, because you're so distracted in the crap that he's doing on the side. That's why another one I can give you was Busta Rhymes. People love Busta. I'm not saying Busta's not nice. But the outlandish videos in the beginning took away from, if you listen to what he was saying, he wasn't saying anything. Once he stopped the craziness, like the song he has with Mariah Carey, it's a normal video. You listen to it, it's actually a really good song. But you're not distracted by the BS that he's doing with the crazy suits and all. You're finding all that funny. You're not really listening to it. He's not really saying anything though.
Well, what about Lil Wayne? Does he say anything, or
we can't understand anything?
Or is he just good lyrics?
We don't know if he's good or not because we can't understand nothing he's saying. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I guess I've never bought any Lil Wayne's music. Not a big fan. I think he's overhyped, but that's me. I will give you two more other guys I think are overhyped. Unpopular opinion: Tupac and Biggie. Pac had numerous albums. None of them had more than 2 hits on them. I've been a victim of Pac a couple of times. I bought albums, and you listen to it, and you're like, yo, this got 2 songs on it. The other 12 you would never listen to. Like, this is crap. Biggie, you can like Biggie's albums if you like them, and that's fine. The thing for me was, when Biggie was out, videos were big. And the songs, for example, that were made in the video were remixes of nothing like what was on the albums that you bought. So if you fell in love with the songs in the video, you didn't get that one on the album. So you love the song from the video, which is great.
The radio
version, which is not on the album. And you're like, well, I don't like the album. But I like what I just
heard, and I wanted.
But I don't have that. So you stuck. So
you gotta buy a mixtape.
That kind of threw me a little bit. You know, just never was a fan like that, of Biggie like that. Not saying he wasn't legendary. I guess he was. Not to me personally, but he was okay. Like that, you always had that Brooklyn battle, Biggie or Jay-Z. For me, it's not even close. It's Jay-Z. But that's me. I've always been a Jay fan, so I will always be a Jay fan.
And I preferred Biggie lyrically.
I'm not saying Biggie wasn't there lyrically, but I guess the video thing threw me with Biggie, you know, with the whole radio version. I'm getting this, but when I buy the album, I'm getting this. I don't even know what this is because this sounds nothing like what I just saw on TV and fell in love with. I'm learning the words off the radio and off TV, and I get the CD, and it's totally different.
Well, let's go back to what you saw in the video. Can we go back to Video Music Box?
Oh.
And Mr. McDaniels?
Well, let me ask. Most people don't even know it still comes on.
It does. I saw it. It just doesn't feel the same, but...
Well, it to me it does, because it still starts with 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini. The opening song is still the 5 Minutes of Funk, and it's still on. It plays a mixture of old and new videos or songs or whatever, but...
People still make videos?
Some people do.
Oh.
But speaking of that, can we go back to Donnie Simpson on BET with Sherry Carter? I can't think of the name of that show, but that was really good. And the original 106 in Park with AJ and Free was really good. But after that, it was terrible.
Not the same, no.
No, because at the end, I think when it went, it had Terrence J and Roxy. They were okay. But when it went down to Bow Wow being the host or something, who respects Bow Wow enough to listen to anything he got to say?
That's just wrong.
Because he's a child. Even though he's almost 40 years old, he still looks like a child. Like, dude, you're not even taller than your mother. What man is not taller than his own mother? Right, except for Gary Coleman, Webster. No, I mean, so the evolution of the music has so much changed. You just look at it, like I said, you go back to the day where you had arguments like who was better, Run DMC or Houdini. You know, you don't really have that now. I was a Run DMC fan more, but Houdini had some great songs in there too, don't get me wrong.
Exactly. I think they're up to Run DMC, they paved for Houdini.
Absolutely. And then you have some other groups that have come out over time that don't get a lot of love, like EPMD.
I like EPMD.
I do, but I don't.
Nobody asked you.
Oh, well, actually we did. I think Eric Sermon is weak. I thought Parrish Smith carried them, had the better lyrics. Same thing with Run DMC. Run was, to me, even though he had some lyrics, Run was more the hype man. DMC said more the substantial lyrics, to me. But I felt with Houdini, they were more of a balance where they both carried each other.
Okay.
Like, to me, a modern day Run DMC would be, I hate to say it, naughty by nature, where you have one guy who has the substantial lyrics and the other one is a little bit more of a hype man. Because Run had a couple of lyrics here and there, but we all remember DMC's lyrics. I love eating chicken and collard greens and all. We all remember all that. Run's is okay. Run was just loud and in the front. Like, different kind of hip hop, but same thing was A Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, that was beautiful music.
Fife actually had the better lyrics, but Q-Tip was more of the front man.